the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops. And it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
Inline spinners have always been a big part of my fishing. In fact, as a youngster growing up, there were very few places within a 10-mile radius of my home that didn't see an inline spinner very often. They were perhaps my #1 lure back then, and today, they're still one of my all-time favorites. What makes these lures so attractive to fish? These straight line spinners create a tremendous amount of reflection when turning underwater in the form of an oblong flashing three-dimensional shape that looks very much like a live minnow cruising along. About the only negative thing I can say about these baits is that they will often hang if they hit cover. But when cover's present, visible or not, you can always catch fish around it if you're careful. And with that said, let's get this baby in the water and see if we can catch a few fish, okay? Woo, am I excited. A pretty day fishing with a little bait that I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in. What more could you ask for? The high spot right there. Look at the size of that one. That's a big fish right there. Ooh, a good one right there. He comes up, boom. Big old fish there. You liked that too, didn't you? See ya. Okay, you know, when fishing an inline spinner, it's important to remember that if you insist on fishing the lure just under the surface, you might miss catchable fish, especially aggressive bass. Now this can happen because a charging fish actually pushes the bait forward, causing him to totally miss the hook. Plus, the angler usually reacts by setting the hook and pulling the lure even further away, especially lighter models. Now I personally have my best success by working the lure at least a foot or two deeper below the surface. Now I'm throwing out right here because I've got a real shallow point that runs out here. Yep, inline spinners are so basic, yet so general and natural appealing to most fish that they'll catch them even when you fish them without fully understanding them. Naturally learning all you can about them and where they should be used will result in even more fish. Ho, ho, ho. Get out from on that trolling motor. I know that's where you want to go. There we go. Nice.
Bill Dance Outdoors is sponsored in part by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. and by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
The blade on this bait is called an Indiana. It falls somewhere between the Colorado and the Willow in performance and has about a 20-degree blade angle that provides perfect action, flash, and vibration. The blade is the easiest turning of blades, responding to slow to fast retrieves, faster than the other two mentioned, creating more spin and reflection. It's a very versatile blade. You know, there's just something magical about inline spinner baits. It really is. They're absolutely terrific fish catching lures. In fact, there are not many freshwater fish that won't hit them. They work great on trout, crappie, bluegill, and naturally bass. And in the larger sizes, they work exceptionally well on pike and muskies. And I've even caught speckled trout and redfish on them. Yep, they're remarkable little baits. And so simple to work. All we do is just throw them out there and reel them back. But you don't want to overpower one. Just a slow, moderate retrieve is all you got to do. You know, these little guys date back to the mid-30s. That's a long time. And literally millions and millions of them have been sold. And I'd be willing to bet that every fisherman at one time or the other has fished one or has got a buddy that has fished one of them. Better fish. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look here. Good one too. I reckon he is good. I didn't think that fish was that good. You see all that green? Okay, let me tell you, these little guys right here come in a bunch of sizes and colors with many different blade designs and different colored blades. Now some are plain with just a hook like this one. Others are dressed with air wrapped around the hook. Some have plastic minnows attached, but all work under certain conditions. But you'll find after fishing them, you'll have your favorites, just like me. Now one of mine is this one right here, the one we're using today. It's Bass Pro Shops half-ounce nitro spin. And I'm using the silver blade. I like it because it puts out so much reflection. Look here, that's a big one. That's a whole house. Can you pull that line? Yep. A tough dog. Liked it too, didn't he? That's a nice one. See you. What's he thinking? I'm thinking I want to go home.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Quantum Rods and Reels, Mystic Lubricants, Lubrication Domination, and Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Today's show is sponsored in part by Stren, the standard of dependability since 1958. Lure Lock, turning the tackle world upside down. And Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish find you.
Today's equipment log is brought to you in part by Lure Lock. Their TackLogic technology locks your terminal tackles safely into place. 100% made in America. Lure Lock, revolutionizing the way you fish.
If you can position yourself to where you can throw with the sun behind you, you'll get a lot more reflection off that blade. There's one. Every one of them want to come back and go up onto the boat. Every doggone one of them. Woo! Gonna get me up out of my chair. I gotta come back here and get you, old boy. Easy does it. Now, there's another pair of pliers. I'll just get them. Look at that big old mouth and that little bait. That a dandy. A big old fish too. Woo. Size that mouth. Whoa. All right, boy, let's go home. I've heard pro fishermen say all lakes are not conducive for spinners. What? What did they say? Well, let me tell you, all lakes have water in them, don't they? I'll admit, muddy lakes are not ideal for spinners, and lakes choked with weeds aren't either. But if bass are in a lake with clear to semi-clear water, spinners will work from early spring to late fall. How does a bass know where he lives? If it's a lowland, midland, highland lake, a pond, a watershed lake, a creek, a river, wherever, he adapts to his surroundings, and his behavior is governed by the type and the amount of forage, and mostly water temperature. You know what really surprises me? I know a lot of these baits are sold, but you just don't hear much about them. With all the specialized lures on the market and all the promotion they get, it's all about crankbaits, jigs, swim baits, jerk baits, topwater spinner baits, and plastics. But like I said, inline spinners are truly versatile little gems. Uh-oh, look at here. Yes. Wow, buddy. Back under the boat he goes. Where does he stop? Nobody knows. Fat little Jesse right there, boy. Well, you're talking about a fat one. That is a fat fish right there. Look at the gut on him. That is a pretty fish right there. Look at that. Is that not picking you some meals, hadn't you? Now, how can you be hungry? That's a sign he liked that bait, isn't it? Woo! I think I might get me a few more of these. I know where to get them. In the Bass Pro catalog, online, or at your nearest Bass Pro store.
Bill's question and answer of the week is brought to you by Lure Lock. Our durable tackle boxes will protect your prize lures and make organization fun and easy. Lure Lock, revolutionizing the way you fish.
Is there a set time for pre-spawn bass? Bass activity is determined by weather, which is unpredictable. Weather patterns control water temperatures, which determines bass activity. Sometimes spring is early, sometimes it's late. It can vary by regions of the country and even regions of a reservoir. But don't sweat the variables. See it as a challenge, not a frustration.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort. And Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. Closed captioning provided by Power Pole, the original shallow water anchor. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos. With advanced sonar technology like Chirp and exclusive Panoptix all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
There's a place for everything, and everything needs to be in a place. Being organized makes for a better day on the water. These Lure Lock tackle boxes definitely help with their remarkable bonding agent that holds everything in their place. Everything's secure. There's a place for everything, and the place for Lure Lock is in your boat.
Come be a part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us.
What I'm trying to do is keep my boat in about 10 to 14 feet of water out from this grass line drop and just throw up on it. And where these fish are, they're laying up on top, out close to where it breaks off. Sometimes that breaks in closer, sometimes it's further out. So what I'm doing, I'm watching my graph and I'm just kind of following it. Like I say, sometimes it may be 10 yards off the bank, other times it may be 35 yards off of the bank. So with a bow mounted trolling motor with a graph on it, by watching my front graph, I can watch. So I'm just paralleling it wherever it goes, and I'm fan casting going down the bank. And I'm slowing the bait down as I get further out off of the bank. Sometimes those fish are right up closer to the bank, sometimes they're further out. It just depends where that drop is. I'm using a Quantum medium action rod, 7 foot. I'm using 14-pound original strand line. The particular reel that I'm using is one of Quantum's new little S3 reels, and what is that ratio? It's it's that fast one. It's 8.1 to 1. It's smooth, lightweight. Rod tip is a fast action rod, real sensitive tip. Now, these baits don't have a lot of vibration, but the key again to fishing them is nothing fancy, just throwing them out and reeling them back. The key again is not to overpower them. Oh boy. Get away from that trolling motor rascal. Look at that. Look at that one. Oh, don't you do that. Yes, sir. Bringing me down. Oh, here's a big one. I mean a horse. Oh, big one. I knew he was big when you hit it. Two hooks in. Now look at that. That little bitty bait, that great big mouth. Look at that. Ooh. You talk about a dandy, another. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Toodaloo, baby. Let me ask you something. What bass in his right mind could let this bait go by without giving it a punch? Yep, spinners have got a history about them, and their true strength is versatility. So, if you haven't fished one lately, well, there's no better time than now. How about giving one a fling? There's no doubt in my mind you'll catch you a few. Until next week at this same time, you catch a lot of fish, keep what you can use, and release the rest. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.